Welcome to Blinkers Off with your hosts, Jared Welch and Aaron Halterman.
Hello, what is up? I'm Jared Welch, Aaron Halterman. It is Thursday, September 11th, and this is Blinkers Off. What's up, man?
All right, what's up? Yeah, it's Kentucky Derby season, my friend. We're here.
It's
right?
here. It's the Iroquois and Pocahontas this weekend, kicking off the Oaks and the Derby, and of course the Breeders' Cup Challenge races. I mean, I always think it's weird that we start. I don't know. It just feels like it's hard to get too excited. I mean, it's great to start talking about the Derby, but it's like, is it really a Derby prep? You know?
Yeah.
It's 10 points, I guess, to the winner, but the Iroquois is kind of, you look at the past winners of the Iroquois and it's not, they ain't running the Derby.
No, it hasn't really been. More of a Breeders' Cup prep than a Kentucky Derby prep, but it's good to ride on the algorithm because nothing is better with an horse racing algorithm than riding Kentucky Derby in the title. So that's always good. You get more views that way. But no, it's more of a Breeders' Cup prep for sure. But it's always kind of cool to see Churchill Downs back running. They've got a really good card Saturday, and like I said, Pocahontas and the Iroquois, two of the big ones we'll talk about.
Oddly enough, just as one reference of last year's, it's like, yeah, Jonathan's Way was obviously not, a Derby horse, but I mean, not to say these are great horses, but you had Owen Almighty in there, you had Sandman, Magnitude, who obviously did not come back to look great, but he did for a second. So I mean, the race itself had a lot of horses that we ended up seeing, down the stretch there, or down this past couple months here on the Derby Trail / Triple Crown, and some of these summer races. But the winners itself just haven't produced much moving forward.
No, definitely not. And yeah, Owen Almighty was a horse I picked last year to win the race, and ran well, but got beat. Sandman, I don't think any of us really had any thoughts of at the time. Same with Magnitude, didn't look like much at the time. But yeah, Owen Almighty and Jonathan Way were two very kind of heavily hyped horses, and Owen Almighty did do okay. You got to give him a little bit of credit. What the hell happened to him, by the way? Did he get injured? I guess.
I don't know.
Anyway,
he had to have.
Yeah. Anyway, no, the biggest problem is look, it's a 1-turn mile for 2-year-olds in September. So it's hard to win that race and then go win the Derby just a few months later. That's a hard task.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. It's more of anything. It's sure we can call it a Derby prep, but it's not, it's a prep of anything. It's more of the Breeders' Cup to kind of see if any of these horses are going to start going there. And, cause from there, it's like, the breed, you didn't know, even a horse like Fierceness, you at this juncture, here between now and the Breeders' Cup, you had no idea what he was. Now, obviously, he went on to lose the Kentucky Derby, but he was a favorite, and so it was kind of until after the Breeders' Cup when you're you start to at least get an idea of, hey, these are for real horses. Man, I don't think these are for real horses. I don't know if they're, all those kind of questions. But a race like this is, listen, it's hardly a Breeders' Cup or a Derby prep, but like you said, it's good for racing to talk about, to throw Kentucky Derby in the title, and that's what we'll do. Iroquois and Pocahontas, and of course Woodbine. I mentioned but I mentioned in the opening, September 11th. It's weird. It's been 24 years, Halterman, since the attacks, and again, it's always odd to me that as we've gotten older, that it's still you get to this day, you remember exactly where you were at, everything that went down. I'm sure most people that are listening to the show, feel the same way.
Yeah, for sure. I was a senior in high school and was sitting in the history class, world history, and the assistant principal came in and said, you might want to stop whatever you're doing and just turn the TV on. And so that's when we first watched it. We got out of school early that day, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but a bomb threat was called into our school. You can laugh now because it was ridiculous, but somebody called from a payphone. Remember those? And called in a bomb threat to the school. So we left school at noon that day. But yeah, I remember it very clearly. I remember it. We turned it on, and I remember the history teacher going, "Planes don't just fly into buildings. This is something really, really bad is happening." And, you know, and then by the time we left that class, the second one had hit. So, yeah, I remember, 24 years ago, I just described beautifully there what happened. So I remember it like it's yesterday.
Yeah, I was a freshman in high school, and same high school there with you. And I think I was still naive to the whole like, just I was still so. I mean, the difference between a senior and a freshman is pretty drastic, and so it's like
Yeah.
I was, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, So, and I remember a kid came running in our class, and it was like, hey, so a plane just hit the World Trade Center, and I remember thinking like a tiny plane, like, who
Yeah.
cares, kind of thing, like, all right. And then we went to it was like between periods. So we went to our next class, and we just sat there and watched
Yeah.
the teacher put it on. Miss Pinnell put it on the TV there, and we just watched. But even then, watching it, it's hard to remember 24 years ago. I remember them hitting the towers, but then that rest of it, because then, like you said, we had to evacuate our school.
Yeah.
And so, like, we were out on the football field for what seemed like forever. And then finally we left, and I remember getting to my grandparents, and because my mom was at work, and it was like, I couldn't drive yet at the time, and it's then you get sit there in front of the TV like with the rest of America, like, and see the horror of everything. It's kind of but it really took, gosh, weeks, months, year, to really kind of like realize. And obviously, as you've gotten older, the more it's like kind of you feel it. But it's at the time, for me, it was just very just kind of confusion, really. And I think that's the way a lot of people were.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember one person, and I don't remember who it was, but I remember somebody saying, how terrible is this pilot? Because again, we turn it on and there's a plane, and that was like I said, that's when our teacher was like, I don't think that's an accident. What happened there? So yeah, it was crazy. And that the bomb threat, I laugh, like I say, I laugh about it because it's so dumb, but it was like, it was a bomb threat. We're going to take you out to the football field. Well, the football field is literally right by the school. So it's like, okay, so if there is a bomb, we're not safe. And you remember there were two sets of bleachers on the football field, one that literally butted right up to the school, and then one over on the other side of the field, and they sat us on those bleachers over by the school, like where the school is. And finally, somebody, I don't remember who it was, somebody in my class was like, shouldn't we move over to the other ones? And they're like, yeah, it's probably a good idea, actually. And we moved over. I don't know why, but that just that sticks in my mind almost more than like I said, until you get home and see the TV and really understand what's going on. But that day, as far as school goes, all I remember is that bomb threat that the kid called in from a payphone. So yeah,
dude, you'll laugh. Like, again, now you can laugh, but this is how naive I was. And I think a lot of, because you get those. We had at the time, right? 2001. I'm a freshman. I don't have a phone. No one has cell phones.
No, I didn't either.
Like searching the web to see what's going on, like today on Twitter or whatever. So you're really just kind of left with, asking, and then rumors get, flying around about what's the, And I remember thinking, because you all is it seems like maybe something bad has happened in America or something's happening, and then there's a bomb threat at our school, and then you remember like we had in our hometown, we had this huge, like, what's MFA? What are those? Like,
they're like silos. Well, they're not silos. It's just a huge, like,
for like grain and all kinds of, farming type stuff. And I mean, it was like, I mean, to us at that time, it felt like a big deal because it was a year where President Bush came to the town and actually spoke at the place. And so my mind was like, oh, like, are those a target? Like, are these a target to, is this a bigger thing? Like, what do they take that out? That, and you're just like, your mind goes 1,000 different places, right? And I think it's easy, when you try to explain it to somebody or your kids, or, for me, like, you're like, it's so different then, because like now you would just hop online and be like, okay, this is what's going on. But then you had no idea. Remember the gas stations were like completely loaded because everyone was trying to get gas. No one knew what was coming. It was crazy. So it's crazy to think it's been 24 years since that day. And again, this day always kind of sneaks up on you, and then it happens. You're like, and it's like there's that. For me, anyways, it's like there's this at least a moment every September 11th where you're just like, I kind of replay that whole day, So
yeah, it was a weird day for sure. To your point of like, when you would see a plane, and of course you didn't see any planes for a while, but then when you would see them the next, however, when they ungrounded everybody, you thought, gosh, that's wild that happened. It was just weird. It was a weird feeling. Yeah, and it was crazy. I remember listening to the radio was a big thing then too. We were because, like I said, there wasn't. I mean, there's internet, but nobody has like instant access to it, right?
Yeah.
You got to go to the computer lab on the desktops there. So, no, I remember listening to the radio on the way home, going, "Wow, this is really happening." So, yeah, it's crazy. And of course, if you lived a lot closer, I mean, we're in the middle of the country. We didn't understand the magnitude of it fully, but yeah, if you're from the city, I could imagine that's just I can't imagine how that was that day. It had to be just terrifying.
Yep. Crazy last couple of days, man. It's been a crazy couple of days, and obviously what happened yesterday with Charlie Kirk, and then right on the eve of September 11th. So yeah, it's weird times right now, but we're not going to get into all that. We'll get into the racing though, Halterman, because this weekend we're going to take a look at the Iroquois, at the Pocahontas. Those are the opening Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks for the 2026. I wrote 2025 when I first put it down. I was like, no, that's 2026. It's crazy that we're 2026 Derby. And then we're going to look at some quick hit selections for Woodbine's loaded day of racing, stakes racing across the board, including 3 winning your in Breeders' Cup Challenge races. Let's go. Yeah, the Woodbine action is awesome this weekend, guys. So, it's you might as well call it the Appleby Godolphin Invitational because it's really not, to me, when I was handicapping those, it wasn't like, who do I think is going to win? The first question was, okay, which Appleby? Like, is this the real Like, is this horse a lock to win? Which one's like the real Appleby horse that he's bringing over?
Right. Yeah, it's going to be fun to see that unfold. The races are pretty deep at Woodbine too, so you've got a lot of options if you don't want to go Appleby.
Hey, listen, Pedlo, I appreciate that. I got a haircut the other day, and I got this is my Saratoga shirt I got when we were there. It's kind of I'm feeling good. Feeling good. All right, let's go. Saturday, Churchill Downs, race number 6, the Pocahontas Stakes, grade 3, 300K, 1 mile. For fillies, 2-year-olds, 10, 5, 3, 2, 1 for your top 5 finishers headed towards the Kentucky Oaks. Field of 7 lined up here, and this was a tough one. It's kind of wide open. Look at the odds. There's only one horse that's double digits. It's 12-1 on Joke Maker. Everybody else is really in that kind of 2-1 to 6-1 range, and really probably deservingly so. It's going to be very interesting to even see how this race is bet, let alone trying to figure out who's going to win.
Yeah, it's not a very good race. I mean, you got maidens in this race, a bunch of them. But look, I think at the end of the day, you just kind of pick your poison on what kind of angle you want to take. I ended up going with the number 5, Our Two Girls on top in this spot. Kenny McPeak runner that I thought was very impressive last time out at Ellis Park. Just one race, broke the maiden pretty nicely. Pretty strong, pedigree to go a mile, I think, especially on the bottom side. So that race was 6 furlongs last time out. I do think stretching out to the 8 furlongs will be okay for this horse, and just finished up real nice as well. So I went number 5, Our Two Girls on top. I do like, Kenny McPeak's got 2 in the race. I actually like that Hernandez is on this one. Brian Hernandez is the guy for McPeak, even though Irad, who's on the other McPeak horse, probably, obviously the more household name. But give me the 5 to kick us off here.
Yeah. Listen, you said pretty much everything. I went with the exact same horse. For some reason, when it comes to the Pocahontas and especially the Iroquois, like I just gravitate, like those are like 2 of the races I gravitate to McPeak. I feel like, and I don't know, because the horses that come in are still like good prices, but they're not like, I hate playing McPeak at a low price unless it's, Torpedo Anna or something like that. But like a horse like this, I think the price is right. I don't think the race is extremely deep, like you said. And coming in off that last race, I thought was nice and kind of can show to be tactical. Distance-wise, I'm not concerned. 6 furlongs on debut, stretching out to a mile. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know how good the horse is long term. I think that's going to be that kind of the moral of the story as we go through both of these. Like, doesn't necessarily mean we think that R2 Girls is the Oaks winner. Could be, right? I don't know.
Mhm.
But for this race, I like her, but I'm not like I'm not like sitting here saying she's a single, like I think I mean, how can you even know, right? Like some of these horses, like you said, coming in off maiden special weights, looked good in those races, but what are they going to do here? You find out, obviously, but there's really not a lot of tells, as you come into a race like this.
No, absolutely not. And one of the reasons why I not really liked, but I liked her enough to play a win on the number 5 R2 Girls. Miss Complicated, the 2 horse, is one I kind of like here. It is a maiden, and is a maiden because she lost to R2 Girls last time out. Look, I when I looked at, I went, 1 through 7, and I looked at the 2 horse and I circled the 2. I said, okay, Miss Complicated, kind of like that horse. Don't really care that she's just a maiden because there's a few maidens in here. And then you get down to the 5 and you go, well, hell, that's the horse that beat her. So, you take a look at that race. You're like, yeah, I think the 5 is the one to play coming out of it. So, no, yeah, I like the 5. I like the 2. I'm not going to be shocked if the 6 Dazzling Dame wins, but it's not one I'm going to play. I don't think that horse should be 2-1.
Well, that's what I was going to say. We'll do kind of the discussion of Comport in the next one, but like let's play the game of let's talk me out of the favorite. So why don't you think the 6 is going to win?
Well, 2 races where she got the lead, and in this spot, I do think she's going to have some company up front. I think the 7 goes with her pretty strongly. A race at Laurel, a race at Monmouth. I know it was at a mile last time out, so I do think that's a good thing. But I don't know that I trust Laurel and Monmouth coming over here. I just kind of think she gets a little tired and gets passed. I think these horses are a little bit better than what she's been facing. I do think the Monmouth race, obviously a little bit better than the Laurel race, but I don't want her at a short price here.
I also think because I kind of liked the 7 a little bit as well when I was handicapping it, and I know 7 post isn't exactly like way outside by any stretch, but it doesn't help that you are on the outside. Plus you have speed, so I do think that 6 and 7 both being on the outside are going to be kind of forced to move there fairly early in the race, especially being mile the long backstretch there as they go into that turn. So you're going to have a lot of time to kind of get out of the gate and get to the lead. But I do think that means the 6 and the 7 are both going to kind of have to go forward pretty quick just to get in their positions. And then that return could set up a fairly hot pace for a horse like the one we like, which is the 5 R2 Girls, who could be sitting right off of those 2. So that's kind of ultimately why I went with the 5 when I saw the speeds out there drawn outside. So 5 for me, 5 for you as well. R2 Girls at 6-1 to win the Pocahontas. 2 races later, race number 8, the Iroquois Stakes, grade 3, 300K, 1 mile for 2-year-olds males this time. Field of 10 lines up for this Kentucky Derby prep race. 10, 5, 3, 2, 1 for those top 5 finishers as well. And Comport here this one's a little different than the last one. That one felt very wide open, at least from the betting, or at least the morning line maker. This one seems fairly one-sided. If you want to throw in Spice Runner versus Comport, those seem to be the very 2 clear choices of the race.
Yeah, I can't get around number 7 Comport on top. I think he's the one to beat. 2 out of 3 here, lifetime. The loss did come at this track, second in the Bashford Manor. Last time out, Ellis Park Juvenile. Really nice win, going 7 furlongs, stretching out to a mile today. 7 furlongs to a 1-turn mile. That's about, that's kind of it. It's not the same, but it kind of translates well, I guess is the word I'm trying to look for. So I like 7 Comport quite a bit in here. I couldn't get around him. I do think you can get a little bit creative underneath, but I don't want to steal any of your horses, so I'm not going to say it yet. But for me on top, number 7 Comport.
Yeah, listen, I think from a win perspective, I think this one's pretty fairly straightforward. I think it's those two that have the best, shot. At, I think here's the thing: Spice Runner and these two have faced each other, twice, and Comport has won both of those races, right? They both won on debut. They both ran the Bashford Manor. Now Comport lost that day to Romeo, but did hand Spice Runner a fairly easy beat there, and then ran better in the juvenile that last race, but still Comport was really or Spice Runner was really no match for Comport, and I don't, stretching out, you would think the 5, but one's by Gun Runner or one's by Collected. I think Spice Runner might appreciate going a little bit longer, but I don't think this is going to hurt the 7 either. So I listen, I'm with you. I kind of went into it saying I'm going to beat the 7. I'm not going to play 6-5 on this horse. I kept going back. I kept going back to him. So I do think he's the logical winner here. I'm with you underneath. I think you can get pretty creative, but Comport for me as well.
I thought the number 8 Vost was a very interesting horse. Really didn't get out of the gate well at all last time out at Ellis Park. First race for the career, going 7 furlongs, and was still able to close up and win the race by 2 lengths. I think he'll move forward off of that one. I think 12-1 is a really good price, so I do like him underneath. I thought the 4 So Special is a Kenny McPeak special. You see him do this with 2-year-olds where they kind of switch surfaces. So Special, 2 races on the turf, one going a mile, one going a mile and 16th. One last time out broke the maiden going a mile and 16th. But like I said, they are on the turf there at Ellis. Now we move over to the dirt. I thought that was a very interesting horse as well. So those are kind of the two longer prices. Also, the number 1, Nothing Personal. I don't know what will come of it coming from Colonial to run at Churchill, but that was a very good first race for Nothing Personal last time out as well. So those are kind of the longer prices that I think you can kind of put. I just think a couple of these will hit the superfecta here.
Yeah, the one I'm with you. Like if that race was anywhere else, or say Ellis or something, you'd be like, okay, but you just don't know what that Colonial form is like. Did beat the horse that he just beat the hell out of, came back to win. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
But again, Colonial, if the pace sets up fairly well for this horse, I think the horse could run well. But it's a wild card. I wouldn't be surprised if this horse won. I also wouldn't be surprised if he ran up the track, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think that was a pretty nice performance. So the one of those horses where I would probably be more apt to play, like say in my pick 4 versus playing in my trifecta, meaning I kind of have the feeling with the 1 it could be kind of like a freaky performance type thing where it's like, hey, that's a winner, or he's just clearly outclassed in this spot and I can't play him, he runs up the track. So that's kind of where I am with the 1. I'm with you on the 4. I think I thought the same thing. Numbers were a little too light for me to go there, but it definitely has the McPeak special written all over it. Turf to dirt in the Iroquois is kind of like, I feel like the McPeak special. And then for obvious reasons, well, maybe not obvious to you guys, but for obvious for me and my family, I'm going to have money on the 10 Maximus Prime just based on the name. Like my kids, we love Optimus Prime. And the fact that it's kind of I showed Cohen the name and he's like, oh, that's awesome. So I'll have money on that horse as well. So
yeah, I wanted to make a big case for him, but it just doesn't look very good on paper. The race 2 back, of course that was on Thurby, so it's been a while. Almost won, almost broke the maiden in a stakes, and then last time out, for sure, I know, and then last time out I thought he would run a lot better there, and he just didn't. But yeah, gets Saez. So nothing really says this horse is gonna like improve stretching out, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously had, at least aggressive ambitions with this horse. I mean, he debuted at Keeneland. Then he went to Churchill in that stakes race, like you mentioned. Then we, didn't switch trainers and everything, and didn't see the horse for a little bit, and then ran at Ellis. So, like, the horse is and the first two were good efforts,
Mhm.
So it's like there's been some hope there with this one. So I guess you have the fact that has ran at Churchill and kind of likes that. The surface didn't run poorly on it anyways, but yeah, this would be a total nameplate. Not as good as what was the horse name that we both mentioned? I said I even picked at one point and then changed it last week and then ended up winning
Old
the deal.
Crazy Bone.
Yeah, Old Crazy Bone. Of course, that horse won last week. So not as cool a name as that one, but almost. So all right. I didn't really ask on the last one, but I think I know the answer. I'll ask on this one. Like any idea, any belief that any of these horses could be anything down the road?
I mean, it's an impossible question. I think Comport's looked pretty good, but I mean, some of these horses that have just ran once, like, yeah, I think there is a chance some of them can be decent. We saw it last year. Like you said, you read them off. We didn't have a Derby winner, but some of them ended up being decent horses. So, yeah, I think the Pocahontas is very weak. I think this race is I mean, it's decent for what where we're at in the season. I think this is a pretty good race.
Yeah. Again, Jonathan's Way, West Saratoga, Curly Jack, Major General, Sitting on Go, Genesis Moment, Carol Cat, the Tabulator, not Turbulator. So, thanks, John. Not This Time, Cocked and Loaded. Those are the horses that have won this race. So,
Yeah.
not exactly the Kentucky Derby field.
Yeah.
But if you go back and look, at every race, what I have found is when you start to look at like the fields, you start to see a lot of names pop up that turned out to be like Caesar Gray, for instance, ran up the track in this race 2 years ago, right? But of course, Caesar Gray went on to win the Preakness, and so it's like you kind of have to look at this race as, I mean, you're trying to pick a winner, but also there are a lot of horses that you're going to see down the road that do not win this race, right? So that's kind of why I always go back to the idea of, hey, this is a quote unquote Derby prep, but it really is more just to see what we're working with, right?
Yep, for sure.
It's a great Stellar Tap was in this race years ago. Remember that horse?
Oh yeah.
Dennis Moment, that horse never always did get hyped up, but I'm trying to see who was in that race. Yeah, that one wasn't very good. I mean, if it couldn't have been good if he won it.
No,
Not this time though. I mean, best sire of all time. Looking at Lee was that year. Finished second that year.
Yeah, not
Recruiting
this
ready.
time.
Yeah. So, all right, Halterman, I'm going Comport as well. You and I are both on the 7 to win the Iroquois. Yeah, miss old Dennis's Moment.
That horse, boy, oh boy.
Actually,
burned a lot of money at the Breeders' Cup. I know that.
That horse, I mean, there's been there's always a hyped horse, but man, that horse was hyped.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did look awfully good in the Iroquois, and yeah, I mean, Breeders' Cup, it was a really weak field too, and he just didn't. He didn't get out of the gate, basically. Yeah, that was Storm the Courtier, Christopher. Yep. And a new Dior, I think, was second in that race. So it was a bad race. And I remember right from the start, we were standing there and we're like, okay, well, Dennis's Moment can't win. And then I can't remember the Bob Baffert horse, but he had a decent horse in there. And he was awful in that race. Doesn't matter now, but he was bad.
All right, guys, time for Rapid Fire presented by Racing Dudes Premium. Head on over to the website at racingdudes.com. We have done full updates on the entire website, made everything easier for everybody to access. We did another update here last week. Everything's more segmented where you can see the picks for which day you want. The premium picks, we've got a page dedicated to the Breeders' Cup, to the Kentucky Derby, to the Betting Bible, all these things to help you guys learn more about what we do, learn more about the products we offer, learn more about the races in general, just everything as far as helping you cash more tickets and enjoy the game. So head on over to racingdudes.com to see more, learn more, and let us know what you think. All right, we're going to Woodbine, Halterman. We got 3 Breeders' Cup when you're in races, obviously all aimed towards the turf, 2 juvenile, won the mile. We'll start with race 6, the Summer Stakes, Grade 1, 500K, 1 mile on the inner turf of the 2-year-olds. It's the Breeders' Cup winning you're in for the juvenile turf. This is it's going to be kind of the name of the game here, guys. So you first look, okay, Appleby's got the 10, Wild Desert, Buick, Appleby. It's Godolphin. Just spoiler alert, Godolphin's got one. Godolphin / Appleby has one in every race of these 3 we're talking about. Also, to give you guys a little bit more perspective, when those 2 team up at Woodbine, they're 9 for 17 in Grade 1 companies. So basically 54% is what they are when they hit. So the question becomes, step 1, is this the Appleby horse to bet? And 2, if it's not, who are you going with?
Yeah, I really like the number 10 Wild Desert in this one for Appleby. You just kind of look at the races he's been in. I think he's been in some tougher ones than this. This is kind of, for me, similar to how I'm going to try to approach the Iroquois, where I look at it and go, okay, I do like the favorite, but I like quite a few. Well, not quite a few, but I like 2 long shots underneath as well. So I do like the 10 Wild Desert to win the race. I was pretty impressed with the number 12 Teddy's Rocket last time out. So I do have him up there, and I like the number 1 Argos a little bit as well, but on top, hard to get around Wild Desert. He looks awfully good.
So it's funny. If just kind of as we look forward here, this is the one that I wouldn't say I faded, but the one that I mean, you'll see here in a little bit who I picked in the other 2, and you'll see there's one outlier, and it's this one.
Mm-hmm.
I played against the 10 in terms of a win bet. The last race was tougher. I agree. Didn't love the way the horse finished, although there was a little bit of like kind of bumping and, but not exactly what you're looking for coming in here. But I do agree. Clearly tougher race, clearly tougher than the race that my pick is going to be that he came out of last, and that's the 12 Teddy's Rocket, like you mentioned. I love this horse on that debut and looked awesome. And man, I mean, Clement had just, considering the year, like kind of, how he became the trainer, right, and kind of the pressure that goes with that. And I mean, man, what a summer he had, what a Saratoga Clement had, and his horses were firing all summer long. And so this was no doubter really that day. And I think that making the move to go from that race to here off of just that main special weight into a Group 1 or Grade 1 is a pretty aggressive move. So I'm gonna stick with the Rosario Clement group here, and I'm gonna try to pick Teddy's Rocket at 12-1 to pull off the upset.
I am starting to get skeptical we're going to get a very good price on this horse because you and Samich have both picked the horse. I've got the horse in second, so I don't know if 12-1 is going to be realistic.
Like yeah, but I mean, with that horse in there, or with the Appleby horse in there, you're going to get a fair price, right? I mean, 5-1 maybe.
I would say, yeah. I was going to guess 6. I bet it gets cut in half. But look, it should. He was super impressive on that debut race. Hung wide that day and still was able to win. Yeah, I think Teddy's Rocket is he's very live in here for sure.
Well, tell me how, like, I don't know. How is the 1, 8-1 and the 12 is 12-1?
I have no idea.
Like the 1 has won one debut race that was on the turf, right? But still came in a stakes race, didn't run well, has Pratt aboard. I guess that's the reason. Yeah. But yeah, to me, it's like I would rather play the 12 and at a much better price. So yeah. I'm with you. I don't expect, I mean, shit, even like a horse like the 5. The 5's 3-1. I mean, has won one time on the turf.
I think the 5 will be the second choice, and then I think Teddy's Rocket will be the third choice. That's what I think is going to happen, or what I think will happen, I should say. But it also depends on how much the Appleby gets bet in here. He doesn't have that resume that you kind of your eyes pop out at, really. You know what I mean? He's been okay in some races I think are a little bit better than this. So I definitely think it's a class drop a little bit for the 10. But will he be good enough? You still don't know.
Yeah, Shotty, we'll hopefully here in the next couple of weeks have some fun kind of announcements with regards to stable stakes. But yeah, stable stakes is super fun, and yeah, that would be a good horse to use at that kind of price. I don't know what other horses Clement has on the card. I just looked at these three. Does he have many entries?
I don't know that I saw any other ones.
Okay.
No.
That's always a challenge. Teddy's Rocket is Liam's map, I think. Yeah. So maybe he's got a few. So I'll have to look at that a little closer. But so the way stable stakes works, basically you can it's like, with fantasy football gearing up now, it's like that. Like you're picking players. In this case, you can pick jockeys, you can pick trainers, and you can pick sires. And so for cards, so say for Woodbine, you can pick Rosario and you get all Rosario's, but he's a price, right? Depending on his odds and those things. But he might be a decent price considering it's kind of based on the morning lines, and 12-1 will help you for sure. So, but yeah, I'm on Teddy's Rocket. You've got the Appleby Wild Desert. Let's go to race number 8. This is the Natama Stakes Grade 1, 500K, 1 mile. Again, for 2-year-old fillies this time. Breeders' Cup winner in for the juvenile fillies. Turf, field of 10. Shows up here. All right, Chad Brown versus Appleby. Dance to the music for this one. Same kind of connection, same everything. This time, maybe you have a little bit tougher competition, meaning Pratt, Chad Brown. Which way you lean here?
It's one of the two, right? I think it's the 5 Dance to the Music or the 10 Deep Learning. I think those are the two that you got to look at. I don't think any of the other ones. I don't give them too much of a chance. Maybe the 6, coming up from Ellis, but I really think it's between the 5 and the 10. I thought about this one for a long time because, Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt, they might be able to slay the Appleby Dragon here, right? And you had to really kind of go back and forth. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the number 5 Dance to the Music here. I really just kind of liked this horse. The more you look into her, I just thought she looked pretty good in those 2 races. Wouldn't be shocked though. Deep Learning looked very, very good on debut.
Yeah, I really like this. I really like this Appleby. So I did go the 5 Dance to the Music. This horse was a favorite at Ascot, got scratched out of that race and came back to run in a different race there. That's that Group 3. But yeah, I mean, the last, the first effort was looked good and looked like, okay, that's going to be a nice one. And then this last race was gutty, but got the job done. I think this horse is improving with each and every race, and still just ran 2 races. So yeah, I like this one quite a bit here. I think it's gonna be tough. Listen, if there's anybody that can do it, it's gonna be Chad Brown and Pratt, right? With Deep Learning, who crushed him at Saratoga last out on debut. If there's a horse that can do it, that fits the bill, it's probably this one. I wouldn't be shocked at all. But I'm okay with just using these 2. Honestly, I don't have a lot of interest in playing anyone else. If anybody else other than those 2 win, fine, right? I mean, I think the question for the whole day is going to be, and again, it's been with Appleby. It used to be automatic. Now it's obviously still very, very good, but it's still not quite as automatic. Where it's like we're still, he sends over horses sometimes where you're like, well, that one wasn't clearly his best, right?
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to figure out and do a little guessing, really, of like how will they perform here? Read between the lines. I do like the 5 here, though.
I think Buick coming over is a real tell, and especially here to Woodbine.
Totally.
They've had so much success here, so I think they're all going to be live, as you'll see.
Well, good segue here because the main event, which is race number 9, the Woodbine Mile. This is worth $1 million, grade 1, 3-year-olds and up. Going 1 mile in the turf, Breeders' Cup Mile on the line. Speaking of the Breeders' Cup Mile, this horse ran in this race. At least the last time this horse ran over here in the United States was in that race. And the clear favorite here, notable speech at 8-5. Appleby, Buick, Godolphin, know the drill by now. Like I said, this horse back last November ran 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Mile. since then has done nothing, and I mean nothing but lose, but has also ran in 4 straight Group 1, very, very, very big Group 1 races, was sub 6-1 in all of them, was a favorite in one of them, now lost, but obviously has been running against very, very tough horses. Now comes back for this race. Where are you going?
Yeah, I mean, he just shouldn't lose. Period. This is a race where he's better than these horses, and it's just that simple. He's a better horse. I do think, and I had him last year, and I thought he would win the Breeders' Cup Mile pretty easily. And I agree. I was a little disappointed. It got third. Only got beat less than a length, but still, it's like, man, I thought he'd get the job done. This is not the Breeders' Cup Mile. This is the Woodbine Mile, and these horses just aren't that great. I have respect for the number 8 Win for the Money, the number 9 Gas Me Up, number 6 My Boy Prince. I don't think they're bad. I don't think any of those horses are bad. I just think Notable Speech, if he shows up and runs his race, I just think he's a lot better.
I mean, yeah, like we're talking, like, is there? I don't know. Like, I'm with you. I like a lot of these horses. I don't think they're terrible horses, but let's just say, like, Win for the Money or even Gas Me Up. Like, do you think Gas Me Up would, run anywhere near Notable Speech and say the Queen Anne Stakes? It just, you look at the form and you're like, all right, well, yeah, this horse is losing. This horse isn't like, Flintshire or something, right? Or whoever you want to compare him to. But it's like, he's still very, very good. And he's just running in really tough races. So, yes, it's concerning the fact that this horse hasn't won in what feels like forever. It is actually 2024 in July at Goodwood, but has ran well, pretty much runs every single time. I mean, this is his distance. Ran well in the Breeders' Cup. Really did. Just those two ran better, right? Johannes and More Than Looks looked like a winner by 200 yards out and just kind of ran down there. But yeah, like you said, this is not that race, and so for that reason, I will pick Notable Speech. So, the mile is going to be a fun race this year at the Breeders' Cup, I feel like.
Yeah, I think so. I think a horse like Notable Speech or a different, European type horse will probably look pretty good in that one. But they always do, is why I say that, right? But yeah, no, it should be. A horse like Win for the Money, ran third in the Kelso, ran third in the 4-Star Dave. I think those are two really good races, and so this is almost like a class drop for Win for the Money, even though, it is a grade 1, because other than Notable Speech, I don't think there is a deterministic in this field. I don't think there is a think big even in this field that won the Kelso. So, Win for the Money, My Boy Prince, they've been up against pretty decent horses. And then, Gas Me Up did win the prep for this basically. So it's not like it's a horrible field, but it's a field that it's just kind of in the middle, I would call it, and that's why I just think with Notable Speech, it's like, okay, I know his best race is better than these horses.
Oh, for sure. What was the question? So yeah, the Velasquez Motion combo is like 10% and 67 starts, so not great. What'd you think of that horse? First time starter here, United States starter, and first time for Motion as well, I should say. But the 3-1 stripe.
I always, when they come over from South Africa, it's always just, I got to see it once, and that's not to say they all struggle when they come over, because they don't, but a lot of them do. And I just don't know enough about the form over there. Again, winning big races there, but I don't really know what that means as far as here. So talking about the number 3-1 stripe, like I said, I just have to see a race. If he beats me in this spot, it is what it is. I'll move him going forward, but I need to see him up against better horses before I really know.
Yeah. Diego Velasquez, I think, is a nice horse who did beat Notable Speech last out. That horse could also come to the Breeders' Cup. That could be fun, especially if Notable Speech were to win here and get that little rematch. But Yeah, I don't know. I think the pace is a really good setup here as well for the two. I think there's a lot of decent amount of speed, meaning I think plenty of horses are going to want to go, like my boy Prince. Even Win for the Money likes to be forwardly placed. The Hunt Master, some of these horses that like to be forwardly placed. The one has shown a lot of speed. So I think if Notable Speech can sit that trip, maybe not be as far back as he sometimes likes to be, but can sit a trip where this pace kind of unfolds like I think it will. I think it will help him even more.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with you. It does kind of look like with my boy Prince in the race, I think it's going to be speedy. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. He really shouldn't have any excuses. He's the best horse on paper. The pace should be there. He just has to come run now.
I agree. So, all right, Notable Speech for me to win here on Saturday at Woodbine. Guys, just so everybody knows, the Pacific Classic 1 week away. Well, 1 week from this weekend. We have the betting Bible is available right now on the website for pre-sale. So if you guys want to go ahead and get your hands on that, but that race is shaping up to be kind of a fun one.
Pennsylvania Derby, you mean? You called it Pacific Classic.
Okay, that too.
Yeah, Pennsylvania Derby, yes, is coming up, and we will have a betting.
Pacific Classic is looking like a good one too. So
it could be a good one. I think Fierceness will take the Pacific Classic. We'll see what happens.
Good call. Bold. I bet he veers in at the start and makes it really challenging for himself, and then he wins.
Yeah, the Penn Derby and the Cotillion. We'll talk about both next week. You're right. It's that day. I feel like Pennsylvania Derby Day and Cotillion Day were kind of. It's what it is. What it is. Up until like 3-4 years ago, I feel like I don't know. Recently, it's been like that's a pretty good card there.
Yeah. Yeah, they always get at least one or two, in those bigger ones that are pretty good horses, right? It feels like now there's always times that horse will scratch or whatever, but immersive is possible for there. The Pennsylvania Derby, you're looking at. Did you see that Privman is now listed as a possible?
Oh, really? Wow.
Bieza, Goal Oriented, those are probable starters. Chunk of Gold. Moplex, Big Truz, you could see Gosker. We'll see about that. But Bieza, I think we're likely going to see kind of the rematch of. I guess no? They didn't face each other, did they?
Who are you talking about?
Goal Oriented and Bieza. No.
Goal
Oriented was in the Preakness, and then yeah. But I think we're going to see Bieza versus Goal Oriented. That seems to be the kind of the showdown, at least what at least right now it looks like.
Yeah, Gosker isn't he's going to be there, right?
Possible. That's the last I saw, though. But
I think he'll be there. So that's another one. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Gosker. Then you're really looking at the rematch in the Preakness for those two.
Yeah.
Bieza kind of turns into the question I have with this race. It makes it so interesting. Is Bieza is likely going to be. Based on the morning line and the betting is going to be like the journalism / sovereignty of the race. And he's not that, you know what I mean?
One win.
He's not that, although he deserves to be the favorite, obviously, but it's almost like when you're okay, it's like when a crappier team plays finally gets a little bit of class relief against not such a bad team. You're like, well, are they that good though? I don't know. It becomes a little scary.
Yeah, you gotta win. He really, truly, and honestly, he has to win, or you kind of just say, well, whatever. You know what I mean? Close the door on him because you can only build a resume so much by finishing second and third to really good horses. But when you get up in a field, you gotta win. You gotta beat them, right? And so it'd be interesting to see how he shows up. I mean, obviously, the last time we saw him, he was within a length or two of sovereignty. So I mean, that was pretty good effort. We'll see what he does, though.
I mean, listen, if he doesn't win this race, it's gonna be such an odd year for him because it's almost like he's the most overrated horse, yet deserved to be rated high. You know what I mean? He's a very odd horse because he's clearly the third best, and I'm like just based off of finishes, right? He's third best 3-year-old, but at the same time,
Yeah.
the other what they have that he doesn't is wins. He's a maiden, or he's won a maiden, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's tough. Now it's not his fault they've thrown him against into the wolves since that maiden, but yeah, the races finally came right where
Yeah.
there's no sovereignty and there's no journalism in the race, and now you got to go get the job done.
Yeah, now you gotta go beat a horse like Gosker and goal oriented. Yeah, throw him in there as well. And I think the flip side of it is, yeah, okay, you should go win, but those horses are getting better. You know what I mean? And so have they caught up a little bit to you? I don't think he's a slam dunk is what I'm trying to get at. I think that'll be a very interesting race. Let's see how it draws. It don't need to talk about it right now, really, but who actually goes and what it looks like. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
You just don't ever know with these kind of horses where like they've been racing against really, really good horses or one other good one, and they're not used to winning. And then it's like you get into a race where it's like he maybe doesn't, you know what I mean? He doesn't quite have that. Oh, or on the flip side, he wins by 10 lengths or something crazy, and you're like, oh shit! Like journalism and especially sovereignty are that good.
Yeah. I mean, you take out sovereignty, he wins the Jim Dandy by the length of the stretch. So, you take out sovereignty and journalism, he wins the Derby and the Belmont. You could if, ands, and buts, right? But the point is like he's ran races that would win a lot of those races he was in if it was a previous year or 2, 3, 4 years down the road but behind us. But yeah, I mean, you're going to look and see one win out of however many starts he has and think, I don't know. I
mean, honestly, his Santini Derby was awesome.
Yeah.
His Derby was awesome.
Maybe his best was his Derby.
The Belmont was not good.
No.
That's the outlier. And then his Jim Dandy was fantastic.
Yeah, Jim Dandy could have been his best too. I think the Derby and the Jim Dandy and the San Diego Derby were all races that they're better than what we've seen out of Gosker and goal oriented, right? But if he runs like he did in the Belmont, he won't win because I thought he was horrible. I'm with you,
he was clearly like, to me in the Belmont, he was just better than everybody else as far as not journalism and sovereignty.
Right.
He was not very you could tell the whole race, like, oh, this is gonna be bad. Pratt is like had to ride him the whole way around,
Yeah. Well, yeah, you look at the horses that were in the Belmont past the top 3, they're not any good. So,
right.
Yeah, it was one of those third places where we're kind of walking back to the car or whatever, and we're like, who got third? Oh,
yeah,
did
right.
Baeza did? Oh, wow.
Like, wow, I can't believe he actually got third.
Yeah. Yeah, because
so that shows you how bad everybody else ran.
Yeah, because you watch him in that race, and like I said, he is kind of a disaster. But to his credit, they said before the Belmont, I heard Maggie Wolfendale talking about this before the Jim Dandy, but she was saying, look, he was talking about the Jim Dandy, said he is being so good, and he was so bad in the paddock before the Belmont. So
for real,
something just happened that day. You know what I mean? He got worked up, and that was it.
So next week, guys, not the Pacific Classic, but the Pennsylvania Derby will be running. So we'll again, the betting Bible is available on the website for pre-sale right now, and you can get that for free. It's a good time here in the next couple weeks. It's a really good time to start getting those subscriptions because, of course, the Breeders' Cup betting Bible will be out here in what seems like not that far away, Halsterman.
No,
we're talking like 7 weeks ish.
Yeah, the Friday. Halloween is the first day of it, so that will be. Let's see, tomorrow's Friday. 1, 2, 3, 4,
7
5,
weeks.
6, 7. Yeah, 7 weeks.
Crazy.
That is
That's crazy. Which means that most of these horses are going to have one more race really underneath. A horse like Baeza, say.
Yep.
This the Pennsylvania Derby is such a pivotal race to see where does he go. Does he go to the Classic? Does he go to the Dirt Mile? Do they bypass it completely? There's a lot of options there.
Yep.
So again, a lot of these horses, some of them obviously we know Mind Frame. He's going right for Sierra Leone, going straight to it. But yeah, this next couple weeks is when we find out where these horses are going to start lining up. So
Let's say he wins the Pennsylvania Derby, but he doesn't. Say he wins by a length, right? It's a good win, but it's nothing crazy. What would you be pointing towards the Classic, or would you be doing something different if you owned him?
man, it's similar to the journalism conversation, like where
Yeah.
it's like, I understand going to the Classic because you deserve a shot to be there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how do we've seen this song and dance too many times where I think if I'm now, I think the journalism one's different, and yes, I might be wrong there, but I would be more apt to use Bieza to take Bieza to the Classic, just because like he still feels sort of unknown, where he could still be getting better. I mean, again, if he wins this race, he did run fairly well against Sovereignty last time they faced, so you could maybe have that confidence behind you, like, hey, he ran pretty well against him. So yeah, I think Bieza would be in the Classic if he wins here.
Yeah, I think I'd point him there too, just because I don't know what the dirt mile, if some of those horses that were kind of rumored might go, it might be just as tough to get that one. I'm not just as tough, but still
Shit, it
tough.
seems like there's
You're
a
running
ton going to that race. I mean,
right, and you're running for a lot less money. So yeah, take a shot with the Classic. I'm kind of, to me, it's like go to the Classic or just like you said, skip it and go to like the Clark at Churchill or something like that. But I think the Classic still would make sense for him for sure.
do the Malibu.
Yeah, I don't know. What does he look like at 7 furlongs though?
That's
I
true.
mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, right now yes, they did. Fletcher said they're gonna just train to the Classic. So
Yeah.
with Mind Frame, it's not ideal. Not ideal.
No.
The dirt mile is looking. I mean, at least possibles. Bookham Dano, Dr. Venkman, Touch of Destiny, Chunk of Gold, Wide of Barrio, Surface to Air, Phillies Fox, Citizen Bull, Mystic Dance, Stronghold, Fools Toronto is the dirt mile, at least possibles that I'm looking at. So, throw in see, to me, that's the group. And then there's like the group that doesn't end up going to the Classic group, so you could throw in maybe 2 or 3 more that are like possible of Classic horses. Now they end up shifting to there. So I still think we could be seeing, like you said, a very tough dirt mile, and maybe not the best dirt mile, but a tough one. Bookham Dano obviously will be the one to beat, right?
Well, he'll go to the Sprint if he goes, but those other horses, I mean, Nisos is a horse that's been rumored for the dirt mile that's not on there. So that's another one. And Citizen Bull looked really good. Fool Serrano came back and looked really good. I think it'd be a tough race to win.
Which one was it that he went? Because he did win a Breeders' Cup winner in for the dirt mile. Which one was that?
I believe in the Forgo. It's one winning you're in for the dirt mile. He's also one winning you're in for the Sprint as well.
Yeah, he's in that one too.
Yeah.
In the Sprint, you got Lovesick Blues, Straight No Chaser, Banishing, Bookham Dano, Patch Adams, Dr. Venkman as well. So yeah, you would think Sprint, but yeah, I mean, listen, Nisos, like you mentioned the other day, like he could be going towards the dirt mile. Even Mind Frame, I wouldn't be completely shocked. You could always see the excuse of he's on training grade, we're gonna go there. With Fierceness, you do have Fierceness already in the Classic, so I would be shocked at all if you saw Mind Frame go that route. So yeah, I still think and then throw in a couple Baffords, call it a day. So okay, I'll ask you. You said about Bieza, like if you were journalism's connections, like it's the obvious answer is to go to the Classic because of the year he's had, but how do you enter that race like almost knowing you cannot beat Sovereignty? And by the way, you can't beat Fierceness either.
Yeah, I mean I mean you just have to do it, right? I just wouldn't take it to the dirt mile. I just don't think that makes a lot of sense. I think he runs second or third in the Classic and picks up a big check. I think that's how you do it, right? I mean, but yeah, I think if it was me, I'd put him in the classic and I'd get a different jockey, and I just do that. It's like you gotta, and here's the deal. Let's say that Rispoli's been doing a pretty good job, which a couple of the 2-3 of the races he has, and some he hasn't. But to me, more than anything else, we've got to try something different. And maybe it doesn't work, but we have to try something different. Like, we got to see if we can get more out of this horse somehow. And I don't think backing him up to a mile is really any better of an answer than running in the classic. I think it's just like, we got to do something different. Whether we put him, really close to the lead or what, or just change the jockey or whatever. It's kind of like if you're playing a basketball team and they're fantastic and you're playing man-to-man defense and they're just shredding you. Try a zone, try to run a zone, and they may shred you some more, but at least you're trying. Like, you got to try stuff. I would just get a different jockey and hope. That's what I would do.
Yeah. I mean, if you play, say you in NFL, if you played, if the Chiefs and Raiders played, twice in the regular season, and the Chiefs, beat the shit out of them both times, and somehow the Raiders made it to the playoffs, and they end up playing again, I would probably want to try a different strategy if you're going to try to beat them, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And if I'm the owner's connections, like you made a good point, it's like I would have a hard time being like strapping them. I mean, yeah, of course, picking up a check, but like, let's try. At least if we try a different jockey, like maybe we can. Like, we don't know, right? That at least gives me some hope that something could be improved. If you do the exact same thing, what is it? The definition of insanity is keep trying the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Well,
yep,
that's kind of that.
And you're not like you're going to make a decision that hurts his chances, right? I mean,
you're not having any issue finding a jockey, by the way.
Yeah, it's just like, what's the worst that could happen? He goes out and runs third. Well, that's what he was going to probably do anyway, right? So you try to do something different. I remember, with Country House, who didn't cross the wire first, but he ended up winning the Kentucky Derby via DQ. But
that was
that aside, they put Flavian Pratt on the horse, and then all of a sudden, the horse that's at the back is sitting up closer to the pace and still runs a great second. They changed the jockey. They got a little more out of the horse, right? I mean, and again, maybe Flavian Pratt does that day, and that horse backs up because he hates it. And then it's like, well, hey, he wasn't going to win anyway. But you made some changes. You tried something, and it worked. I mean, to me, that's what you do with journalism. You just, you try it and you see what happens.
They seem so set on Rispoli, so I don't know.
Yeah, they're very loyal. I'll give them that. And look, I even said it. I don't necessarily think Rispoli cost him the race, but he didn't give him a chance, And yeah. I think both things can be true.
And at least for me, I'll be clear. Like, I like Rispoli as a jockey. I think he's a good jockey. Like, sometimes jockeys just don't fit the horse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes a change is needed. We see it all the time where you'll see things like, hey, they just didn't feel like he was the best for that horse, or weren't on the same page or whatever. No big deal. They continue to ride for the ownership and everything's it doesn't have to be like, you suck, get off, we're gonna get another one. I just think a change would be okay, right? Like on the turf, I love him on the turf most of the time. Yeah. But still, like, he's solid. And here's the thing, and I've said this to you, we've talked about it privately. He rides journalism like he's on the turf. Like it's all the way back and then tries to fit through, holes that aren't there and cut up, rounds horses off, whatever. Like, it's crazy, right? Like, it's just, he rides journalism like he's on. And not only that, he rides journalism like he's on a 10-1 horse on the turf. It's
kind of, I can't argue with much what you're saying, and I'm with you. Like, he's actually one of my favorite jockeys, in Southern California. And I don't know. It just to me, it's just like you gotta try to make changes when things aren't working. And
maybe that's the answer. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
there you go.
that's like the other side.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go. I
we're
don't
gonna
know.
see we're gonna see him in the Breeders' Cup turf next, I guess. So
Could be the answer. There you go. There's the there. You're thinking of the wrong race. Breeders' Cup Turf is where he needs to go.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. That's you two guys that obviously they're not going to listen to. Opinion. I'm going to say the odds are very strong that he's going to be in the Classic. So, all that will go back into the race. The Classic is going to be one of those races that is going to be very annoying because on one side, you've got horses like Sovereignty that are beasts, right? But then you also have horses like Mindframe who, didn't finish the race last time out, and Fierceness who you never know what you're going to get. And Sierra Leone, I mean, he's solid, you can't really trust him to win a race like that. It's just going to be, to me, the more we get closer to the day, you're like, well, it's kind of Sovereignty, and then everyone behind them just kind of seems like it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I know exactly. I just you never know. Things can happen between now and then, but that just kind of feels like the answer, doesn't it? It's like a lot of horses that are really inconsistent, and maybe on their best day they could win, but you just never know what they're going to do. And then you got him, and you kind of know what he's going to do. So
yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Remember to go to the website, racenews.com. Go check out the Race News Premium. We do have, like I said, we have new pages on there. We have testimonials from users. We have more information on the Breeders' Cup, Kentucky Derby, all that kind of gearing up here. We've got, more information on the betting Bible, which we do, again, have one available right now for the Pennsylvania Derby heading next weekend. So all good things. Of course, the free picks, premium picks for every single day of racing. All that is available there at racingdudes.com. So make sure you go check that out. We're on Twitter at racing_dudes, Instagram, Facebook. You can find all episodes of Blinkers Off by visiting our podcast page, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you like to listen. We're on as well as YouTube. So I'm going to go to youtube.com, search Racing Dudes. Make sure you hit that like, notification, and subscribe. Dudes Who Bet was on yesterday, and then Magic Mike, again, scheduled for tomorrow. We'll see. Tonight's game. Who you got tonight's game? NFL.
Should be a good game. I like Green Bay tonight.
I think it's gonna be a really good game, actually.
Should be. Green Bay looked very good. I thought week one, probably one of the more impressive teams.
Agreed.
Washington looked good. They looked okay. But yeah, I like Green Bay tonight.
Dude, I tell you what, I watching that Green Bay game. I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm falling into the Green Bay hype another year. I pick them every year to make it to the Super Bowl. And I watched that week one. I'm like, yeah, this is the year. This is the year. They're going to do it. Like they've got all the pieces now. And I don't know. They'll find a way, I'm sure, to screw it. Detroit, I thought looked bad.
Yeah.
Not a good sign after, losing their OC. So, that the Bears are the Bears, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so, Minnesota could be a lot of things, I think, I like them. JJ, I thought that was good in the fourth. So, I mean, I think it's between Minnesota and Green Bay, but as far as that conference or that conference goes or the division goes, but I don't know. I like them. I do like them quite a bit. So I think Green Bay will be fun. But yeah, the Commanders, I think will play better this week too.
I think this is a really nice barometer game for both teams because, like I said, that Detroit looked horrific, and so you do kind of look at it and go, okay, maybe Detroit just wasn't very good, but now you get a Washington Commanders team come in here, they're good, and if Green Bay dominates them tonight, or not even have to dominate them, just let's say they cover, you're like, yeah, this Green Bay team, they're for real. Vikings, I would look out for them. I think they're going to be very good. Bears are a joke.
Bears are a total joke, but that wasn't. Yeah, I think the Vikings, man, especially if McCarthy continues to be better or continue to get better as he learns. Obviously, that was his first game. He's just a winner, man. He's a winner, and that offense has got so many weapons, and they got a great defense.
Yep.
Yeah, they're going to be good. They're going to be tough.
Great coach. I love that coach at Minnesota.
I do too, man. He is a player's coach. He is just, they love him there.
Yep.
I do
Yep.
too. I really, and then, you know what? And it's like, it's pretty well known around the league too, how good of a coach he is for how young he is too. People are like, really like him, you know?
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, I'm with you there as well. The Eagles, I thought, I don't know. We'll see. The Eagles I think they have some holes. So I think, I don't know. I felt worse about them after that game, even though they won.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to overreact week 1. I thought it's a win. Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys probably they certainly could have won the game, put it that way. Yeah, we'll see on them.
The Cowboys always do that shit every year. They look really good early, especially like oh, this is the year. Dak looks amazing. Everybody looks, you know.
Yep.
And then the wheels fall off at some point. So you know.
Oh yeah, probably this week. They'll lose again.
Chiefs versus Eagles. That's gonna be fun. Not really. I don't know. I'm. I think 0-2 could be very real. So we'll see. The Chiefs they're an enigma really. They no matter who they play, it's gonna be a good game. But for Super Bowl rematch, that game wasn't good. Super Bowl. I thought losing Worthy that quick kind of completely changed everything in that game. They just could tell they had no. It's like take us right back to last year of having no wide receivers just in a second. Did you realize that you may know this by now, but like that we've had Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, and Worthy for now over a year, right? Or over like a full calendar year. They've never once been on the field together. All three. Preseason excluded, right?
Yeah, it's wild.
Hollywood is hurt in preseason last year. Rashee got hurt, week 4 last year. Rashee's suspended now. Worthy's now hurt. Now Hollywood's the guy. It's just they just can't get their guys, healthy to help. It's like Mahomes is out there just pulling off miracles, and it's like the same shit every year where it's like, yeah, Mahomes is freaking insane, but he's out there he's made Juju stay unretired, he's like throwing to Juju. And yeah, so I mean, with Mahomes, you're always going to have confidence, but honestly, the worst part of that game was how bad I thought the defense looked. So that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, defense wasn't very good. Offensive line sucks, and so kind of left with Mahomes running for his life, trying to find somebody to throw to. I mean, I thought Mahomes played one of the better games of his career in the first week. They still lost.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah, I think if they didn't have him, they would be under 500. So I'm going to go with the Eagles. I would not be shocked either way, but as far as a team goes, the Eagles are a better team. I'm very confident in that. But that quarterback is ridiculous. So he could win the game for them, no doubt about it.
I'll tell you what, the one they do have a future superstar as long as he stays healthy on their line. That's Simmons. He's the real deal. You watch his film. He, for the most part, for being a rookie, I think he's going to be a long-term kind of guy. But right tackle is an absolute laugh. I mean, it's a joke that Jawan Taylor has a job in the NFL. Let alone one of the highest paid contracts on the team.
Well,
is true insanity.
I think it's a situation of their sack numbers look good, and they've looked good for a while because they have a quarterback that is a magician. I think if they had a regular quarterback, I don't think you'd think any of those guys are any good. That's honest to God. When is the last time the Chiefs been able to run the ball? I guess when they won the Super Bowl, right? Since they can't run it, and they can't protect. So
I saw a stat that I don't know it top of my head, but it was something along the lines of, if someone can pull it up and go search for it, but basically it was saying quarterbacks since the last 10 years, let's say, or whatever, 8 years of quarterbacks that have had 2,000 yard seasons plus a 1,000 yard rusher or whatever. And it's go down the list, right? It's Jalen, it's Burrow, it's all Lamar, it's all these guys. Mahomes 0 times. 0. Never once has he had a rusher. Their running game is maybe the worst in the league. Dude, Mahomes had 50 yards rushing.
Yeah.
He may have been the leading rusher of the game, honestly.
He was their best running back. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. It's super bad. I mean, but I wouldn't panic, but I just didn't see anything to make you go, yeah, they're gonna be pretty good again. It's like they're just kind of ugh. And like I said, the receivers get hurt. The line's not very good. The secondary didn't look very good. Kelsey, he made a nice play there. He get a touchdown, but he's not the player that he was. I still think he's very valuable. And I still, I guess, if you gotta get the defense shored up, and you're probably okay. But I don't know, the offense just doesn't have a lot of help for him anymore.
Well, the reality is, and I mean, I'm not just saying this as a fan, but they made it to the Super Bowl with the kind of the same offense last year, right? That's just kind of and it kind of shows you the talent that Mahomes has, and Andy, and some of the, obviously the defense played really, really well. That to me is, at least, and it's again one game, but that to me is what I saw as the outlier in that week one was the offense, because unfortunately we were kind of used to that kind of offense, kind of finding ways to, because here's the thing, had we got to stop on that third down and whatever, like I was sitting here thinking, well, Mahomes we're gonna go down and win the game, right?
Well, 100%. And by the way, Kurt Warner is an idiot because he kept saying just they got to run the ball and punt. I'm like, have you ever watched a game in your life? Like, if the Chargers punt this ball, the game is over. Like, they have to be aggressive play calling, Kurt. Like, what are you talking about right now? And give the Chargers a ton of credit. They did. They kept running plays. They were not going to just run the ball and punt it back to them. So
Herbert played outstanding. I mean, Herbert is elite, and sometimes he can be elite. So
I tried to tell you this last year and you got mad at me, but this is really Herbert's second year in the league. I don't even count who is his first seasons with that idiot. This is his second actual year with a real NFL coach in the league. And so I think you saw progression big time in this game. I thought he was pretty good last year, and I think he could be really good. But I think a lot of people look at it and go, well, he hadn't done anything. He's not winning. Well, he had the worst NFL coach I've ever seen in my life to start his career off with. And now he's got a guy that's very good. So let's talk to, past this year, the next year. If he's still not winning games and winning playoff games, then you can close the door on him. But he's a guy, I don't even judge what happened before Harbaugh got there. I don't even judge it, because they had great players on that team, and they had nothing on the sidelines. So,
well, what I've always thought about him is, he's like, it's like, you might be right, because it's like you watch him, and if you watch him like every game, like you're like, oh yeah, he's good. Like, he's got talent, right? Like, he's got a huge arm. He's just a tough player. And they weren't winning games, but if coaching is a big reason of that as well. And so, if you can fix that with, that's why Harbaugh was so adamant when he got there, like, that's our guy, right? Like, there's no question of that. So, I think our division is tough. I thought, I didn't think Bo Nix looked that great. He looked bad, actually.
He's not any good.
I agree, right? Everyone wanted to
put
Denver.
You say you love Bo Nix.
No.
You argued with me last year about this.
Dude, I never said, like, this year everyone was saying Denver's a threat to win their division. Denver's a threat. It's like, dude, you don't know that Bo Nix is going to make that progression for another year. I thought, honestly, if you're going to get a team, I thought it'd be the Chargers, just because of the coaching.
It's 1,000% the Chargers. Yes. The Broncos have a great coaching staff as well, but I don't think they have as good of players as the Chargers have.
They have a better defense, but they don't have their offense, I don't think so.
Yeah, that is a great defense in Denver for sure. But no, I think Denver's a playoff team, but I don't think they'll win the division.
No, it's a good division. Chiefs are in last place of the division right now, so that's fun. I don't know when the last time they were last place of it, but all other three teams win. So we'll see this week. Chiefs have a tough early schedule as well, so it could get interesting quick. But
yep.
All right. Any final thoughts, Halterman?
No, it should be another good week. I love this time of year. You get horse racing and football going. Should be good. I'm excited to see what the 2-year-olds do. I don't know what we've got in any of the 4 races of the 2-year-olds that we talked about, but I'm excited to kind of decipher it after we see what happens here.
Real quick, speaking of those 2-year-olds, what'd you think of Brant?
It's just hard for me to take Bob Baffert serious. Like with these horses, I thought he was good again, but I just I can't get excited about it really.
Is it
just
because
seen
you
this
just
over and
don't
over.
trust that they're going to stick around?
Or I don't trust that they're not going to get injured, and then are they going to regress? Are they going to run a couple of races like gaming? Like you told me this time last year, I was like, yeah, I love gaming. And dude, he's awful,
Yeah.
and then like all those other horses are hurt. And it's just like, I just can't get excited about this anymore. Bet them when they're running the juvenile races there out in California against their own stable, and then bet against them when it gets tougher. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, he's got Brandt's got a very funky leg action. If you guys haven't seen, watch the straightaway. He's got his leg swing, the paddler. That could give him some issues too, I think, like injury wise. So,
Big
and not to
time.
say that he's already got up against it being, we see, like you said, you never know when Bob Baffert horses just kind of disappear. And I think that his action is could cause him some issues.
Well, look, he's very good. Like those 2 races he's ran, you can't poke a lot of holes in him. So there's that. But yeah, it's like, regular Baffert horses disappear all the time. And then you got one that it's probably the worst paddling I've ever seen. Because you see like Essential Quality, Vekoma were 2 horses that paddled a little bit. This horse is like, it's painful looking.
Yeah, like you don't even have to be like in racing, and you watch it and you're like, whoa, that's weird.
Yeah, it kicks,
dude.
It almost looks like it's broke. It kicks out so far. Yeah,
totally. Let me pull up this. I forgot I had this picture, and this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, because it is, you said it. It looks like it's broke, and that's exactly. Look at his leg.
Yeah. It's
weird. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, paddlers, we've had them for a long time. Since the beginning of time, I guess. But we've seen them be okay. They've maybe get a little injured here or there, but for the most part, they're okay. This is a wicked look, So
yeah.
But look, he's been good. He's definitely been good, and I'm not going to take that away from him, but we'll see.
Yep. We'll find out more as we go. But again, guys, that's it for us. Again, good luck this weekend in your football bets, your horse racing bets, everything in between. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Good luck this weekend, guys.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Blinkers Off. Join our horse racing community at racingdudes.com and follow us on Twitter at racing_dudes. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.